So, you make that car payment or that mortgage payment every single month. But have you ever stopped to think, where does that money actually go? It can feel like you're just throwing cash into a black hole, right? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what's happening.
You know, we've all done it. Scribbled IOU on a piece of paper for a friend. Believe it or not, a formal loan for a car or a house isn't all that different. It's just a much more official IOU with the bank. But the real question is still the same. What happens to your hard-earned money after you send it off?
To really get to the bottom of this mystery, we first have to speak the language. And it all starts with turning that simple promise, that IOU, into something a bit more formal.
Okay, so in the world of finance, that official IOU is called a note. It's a really powerful but pretty simple contract. It just lays out the basics. How much you borrowed, that's the principal. When it's all due, the maturity date, and of course the cost of borrowing the money in the first place, which is the interest.
Right. Let's talk about that cost. Why on earth do we have to pay back more than we actually borrow? Well, it all comes down to paying for the privilege of using someone else's money right now, instead of later.
This analogy just makes it all click. Seriously, think of interest as rent on money. You pay a landlord rent to live in their house for a month, right? Well, you pay a bank interest to use their cash for a while. It's the exact same idea.
And this rent, it's not just some random number they dream up. It's actually calculated with a surprisingly simple formula. You just take the amount you borrowed, the principal, multiply it by the interest rate, and then by the time period. That simple little equation is what determines the entire cost of your loan.
Okay, so we get it. We're paying for the loan itself, that's the principal, and we're paying rent on the money, that's the interest. But how does each and every monthly payment get split between those two things? This is where the magic happens, and it's something most people never actually see.
So for most loans you'd get, think car loans, mortgages, you have what's called an installment note. And here's the key. Every single payment you make is like a double-duty dollar. Part of it goes to pay that rent, the interest, and the other part goes to work actually paying down the original amount you borrowed. Understanding the split is the secret to getting out of debt faster.
And this is the part that can be a real gut punch, especially at the start of a loan. Look at this chart. A massive chunk of your early payments goes straight to interest. You heard that right. You're mostly just paying for the privilege of borrowing, while only a tiny little sliver is actually chipping away at that mountain of debt.
But here's the good news. That balance doesn't stay the same forever. In fact, every loan comes with a kind of hidden map that shows you the entire journey, from your very first payment to your very last. Let's unfold it.
Let's make this super real. Say a company buys a machine for 25 grand, but this could just as easily be your $25,000 car loan. The monthly payment is fixed at $587.13. So where does that $587 actually go? This table right here, this is that secret roadmap. It's called an amortization schedule. And what it does is break down every single payment you'll ever make. It shows you exactly how much is going to interest versus the principal and how that big balance shrinks over time. Let's zoom in on that very first payment. Take a look. In month 1, out of your nearly $600 payment, a full $125 is pure interest. It just disappears. That's more than 20% of your payment going straight to the bank as rent. Only the leftover $462 actually fights your debt. But now, watch what happens. Let's jump ahead just over a year to your 14th payment. All of a sudden, the interest part has dropped to $94. Why? It's simple, really. Because you've been paying down the principal, the rent is now being calculated on a smaller amount. It's cheaper. And that means more of your fixed payment is now going toward the actual debt. The snowball effect continues, month after month, until that interest payment is almost nothing.
You know, understanding this roadmap isn't just some boring accounting exercise. It is a seriously powerful tool for managing your own money, whether it's for a student loan, a car, or even your house.
So let's just nail down the big ideas. Every payment has two jobs: pay interest and pay principal. At first, it's mostly paying interest, but as you shrink that principal, the whole game changes. And here is the absolute game changer. If you make an extra payment, any amount, that money doesn't have an interest job to do. 100% of it goes straight to attacking the principal. This crushes the balance that future interest is calculated on, which saves you a ton of money and gets you debt-free way faster.
So you see, it's not just this random black hole you're throwing money into. It's a system with clear rules. And once you see the mechanics, once you see how your payments are really split, You're not just a passive participant anymore. You can actually execute a plan. So the only question left is, now that you have the roadmap, how are you going to use it?